It's day 3 of our cycle syncing mini series, and today we're talking about the summer flourish phase. This is our part 3 of our 4-part series, and this phase in particular is a high energy phase where thriving is the focus. This is the time to connect, create, and tackle high impact tasks. So let's explore how to make the most of this peak energy phase and fill your sink with water to start tackling those dirty dishes, because I'm all about multitasking, and that's the beauty of podcasting is you can listen while you work. And then let's dive into this juicy episode. Feeling stuck in the chaos? If you're ready to regain control of your home, schedule, and time for yourself, you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Jynae, a wife, mom, and homemaker who turned my household chaos into purpose with simple, flexible routines. I'm here to help you create a cozy, clutter-free home and reclaim your time for what matters most. Grab that laundry basket and let's get started. Before I get into anything, I want to stop here quickly. If you haven't already listened to my first 2 foundational episodes on cycle syncing, I would highly encourage you to pause this episode and go give both of those episodes a listen. In episode 6, I talk about the why behind cycle syncing and its importance. And then in episode 10, I give you the practical steps on how you can start cycle syncing yourself. Cycle syncing is a practice that needs to be customized to your unique body because every woman is different, just like snowflakes. So make sure you don't miss out on those 2 episodes. I will link both of those episodes in the show notes below. Now, the summer flourish phase is actually pretty easy to navigate and determine when it is because it starts and stops when your ovulation starts and stops. So if you are tracking your cycle, and like I mentioned, if you have no idea what I'm talking about here, go back to episode 10 and I'll explain all of this to you in further detail. But if you track your cycle, you will know when you're ovulating, so then you'll know exactly when you're in the summer flourish phase. So basically a quick overview of what the summer flourish phase is it's a time in your cycle where you have peak energy and social skills, and that makes this a perfect phase for connecting with others, for hosting, tackling those high energy projects or outward focused tasks. And to give you an idea of like a seasonal analogy of what this is, the summer phase represents thriving during the peak of the season, just like summer is when nature's in full bloom, when the garden's in full bloom, when you go out to your flower beds and you've got dahlias and hollyhocks and sunflowers and all the beautiful flowers in full bloom, ready for picking. That's how you can remember this summer flourish phase is you are in full bloom, you are in peak energy. And so you can think of yourself as a garden in full swing, radiant, confident, flourishing. And this is a perfect time to step into the spotlight, just like the flowers. They're like, pick me, take me inside, put me into a bouquet. That's what you're going to be like in this phase. And so you're going to feel like you could basically take on the world. You can tackle the big tasks. And it's just funny. I just wanted to pause here. I have people come to me and they'll say, I just don't understand why one day I have so much energy and I'm going to take on the world. And then the next, I just don't know where that energy went. Like, Jynae, where did it go? That's because you switched phases. And so the summer phase quite literally is that high energy take on the world phase. You can just smash out the to-do list, get things done. I like to call it get it done time. So get it done during this time because in terms of energy and confidence, they're both at their peak. And the reason for this is because this phase is supported by an increase in hormones like estrogen, which gives you that radiant, outgoing vibe. Then in terms of emotions and how you're feeling emotionally, you're probably going to feel pretty outgoing and social or ready to connect with others at this time because this phase naturally enhances your communication and relational skills. I mean, how cool is God? Like, how cool is it that he made us this way? I'm an introvert through and through. And so in the past, I've really struggled with making commitments to certain social activities during times that I felt good. And then during a different time when I felt more like, oh, I didn't really feel like going out today, that was the time that I made the social commitments and basically had to go put myself out there when I didn't feel like it. And let me tell you, not a good time. In fact, it gives Jynae a lot of anxiety sometimes. And of course, that's not what we want. So Now that I'm aware of cycle syncing, and I've been practicing it myself for a solid 2+ years now, I'm aware of my high energy times, like this summer flourish phase when I should be socializing, and then when I'm making my plans with people like, oh, do you want to meet up here, or should we get together on this day? I plan it to be in this summer flourish phase because I know as an introvert, my socializing whatever energy is going to be okay to do that at that time. And it's really, really, really helped me with that overwhelm because I personally get overwhelmed with having too many social activities. I mean, lots of people don't struggle with that at all. So there's no right or wrong thing. But if you're anything like me, like you can take my advice, make sure that you're doing this socializing during your summer phase. Or if you're a homeschooler and you're planning on going on a little homeschool outing, maybe to some museum or, I don't know, something, maybe a co-op, like a homeschool co-op that you're doing with a bunch of people. If you have the choice, plan to do it around this summer phase because you'll feel much better about it. You'll be much more willing to do it and ready to do it because of that emotional feeling of being ready to be outgoing. You feel okay with socializing and ready to connect with others. So that rolls right into the tasks and activities that you should be doing during this phase. Like I just said, we've already discussed the whole socializing thing, but just to touch on it a tiny bit more, this is specifically when you should be doing your socializing. I'm not saying you can't socialize at other times because there's people in my life who I could chill with every single day. My siblings and I, we're all very close. They don't consume a lot of my energy. I don't feel like I have to host them or serve them so much. Like they come to my house and it's like, you know what, like help yourself. They're comfortable here. So it's not a bunch of energy for me to have to pour into them or stress over. And I'm not saying, maybe I sound like a terrible person saying this. I'm being so transparent with you here, but I'm sure there will be people listening to this episode who feel the exact same way. So I'm looking at you. And then there's other social events for me where it takes a lot more of my energy, where maybe it's like a group thing. I don't love group outings, and I have to really strategically plan that around my summer flourish phase because it's just way more energy. There's lots of noise, there's kids running around, like all of that. Takes a lot of energy because it can be overstimulating. So it takes a lot of energy to do that kind of outing. And so I only go to outings like that when I'm in this summer flourish phase, because if I'm in other phases that I don't have that energy, it just burns me out and it makes me wonder why I went. And I want to go visit people giving my best to them. I don't want to show up drained or feeling like, or coming across, I should say, like I don't want to be there, because I want to give people my best. I want to show up and be the best version of myself. So that's why I suggest you take advantage of this summer flourish phase as far as socializing goes. If you're like me and you're an introvert and you don't prefer socializing all the time. Like I said, there's people that love socializing, and I mean, awesome. That's great. I have nothing against you. But if you are an introvert, this is just some advice I have on this specific topic. And I mean, even extroverts get tired and need time to recharge and just have time to themselves. So if you're an extrovert too, like you could take my advice and really plan all of your social things during the summer phase and then phase it out and not do it so much during the other phases. Like I said, I'm not saying you can't socialize during those other phases, because you can. It's just a matter of being aware of when you have peak energy and when your energy's dropped, and you really should be more focusing on yourself. So that was incredibly long-winded. But the other task or activity, I guess you could say, is this is just a really good time that you're thriving. Like I mentioned in the beginning of this episode, you need to lean into the tasks that require a lot of energy, that require your confidence, like to get something done from start to finish, like reorganizing a room or taking apart everything in your closet and going through your clothes, making piles of what you want to donate, what you want to trash, and what you want to maybe put into storage bins that you're not going to use until the next season, and what you want to put back in your closet. Like that would be a big project. Or taking everything out of your fridge and freezer, cleaning it all out, and then putting it back in, throwing out the expired food. Like these are big projects Washing windows outside takes a long time, and it's a big energy thing. You don't want to take on those big energy projects when you're in those low energy times, like your winter phase, when you really don't have a whole lot of energy. You would not want to be taking on reorganizing your fridge and freezer at that time. So be mindful of this and tackle those big projects during the summer flourish phase when you have the energy to do it. Okay, that was one of my longer episodes of this 4-part series, but I just felt like there was just so much things that came up that I hadn't had bullet points to talk about. So that was, I guess, Holy Spirit led, and I went a bit down a rabbit trail, but I think it was still relevant to the topic. So thanks so much for listening today. I think this has been so much fun. Hasn't it been fun for you? For 3 days in a row now, we've been talking all about the different phases of cycle syncing, and I personally am truly enjoying it. I want you to feel like I'm one of your best friends sitting down with you for coffee, teaching you about something that is absolutely going to change your life. It's going to help you make the most of your energy. So many people say to me, I want to clean and I want to get organized or get ahead of my home, and I want to be there for my kids, show up for my husband, but I just don't have the energy at the end of the day. Well, now this is your ticket how you can do that. You're going to align your body with your natural rhythm, with the cycle syncing phases that we're talking about in this mini series, and you're going to be able to get ahead. You're going to be able to kick the low energy in the butt. So make sure you tune in tomorrow for our 4th and final episode of this mini series where we're talking all about the autumn nurture phase. And I've said this for every single phase. I'm like, oh, I'm so excited to talk about that one. And I don't know if I could pick a favorite. I just love every single one of them because they're all unique and they're all designed for different purposes. So I'm very excited to share this final phase with you. And I hope you'll show up and listen to that one. If this episode today encouraged you, I would love if you would take a moment to leave me a written 5-star review on Apple Podcast and let me know what you think. Let me know what you're learning, or if you want to hear more about it, just share and lay it all out. I'd love to hear from you. So until next time, I'll see you tomorrow. Before you go, if this podcast has encouraged or helped you in any way, the best way that you can show your support is by subscribing to the show and leaving a written 5-star review. Your words truly make my day and remind me why I love sharing here. You can also snap a screenshot of this episode and share it with a friend or post it to your Instagram stories. Make sure to tag me at @HerStableHome. Thanks so much for listening, friend. I will see you next time.